So, my research topic is about how maybe stress could lead to anxiety and depression.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And that's just the whole gist of it. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure it out. But how long have you been in the field?
Long time. So,
Yeah.
I've been in Missouri Western for 30 years.
Wow.
So I started December 1st of 1988, so a long time.
Yeah.
And then before that, I worked for a few years in the Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center. So.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
My dad was going here at that time.
That's all right, yeah. I know I'm starting to feel like an old man. When I first started, I kind of felt like I could relate to students, or I could still relate to them, but, we're kind of in the same age group, and now, I'm like granddad or something.
Yeah. Kind of already answered that one, but can you explain in the simplest terms what depression and anxiety is?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a tough one, right?
Yeah.
So I think first of all, depression, I think it's kind of like cancer, and what I mean by that, there's not just one type of cancer, and there's just not one type of depression. There's many. I kind of simplify it by saying sometimes there's clinical depression. So what that might mean is there's just a chemical imbalance in the body through medication, and also maybe some type of talk therapy that can help. Sometimes there's manic depression or bipolar, where there's ups and downs, and also probably chemical imbalance. And probably the most common depression is what I call situational depression. It's usually some type of loss. A breakup of a relationship, a death of a family member, a loss of a friend, maybe not doing well in school, those type of things. So it's normal to feel kind of down or sad when those things happen. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What could you do for as a friend?
Yeah.
What could you do to help? Because I've asked for many times, if my friend is in a situation, I'm like, oh, well, what can I do? And they're like, oh, nothing.
Oh,
but obviously there has to be something.
Yeah. Sometimes, again, there's not just one particular thing, but I think the best thing being a friend, just be there for them, listen,
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to come up with the solution or the answers.
Right.
I know in my own life, when I've gone through difficult times in my life, it was really great to just have friends around and just to be with them.
Yeah.
Again, it didn't solve it, it didn't take the pain away, but just for that support. So.
That's true,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. What do you think the root of people's stress is that could ultimately lead to all of that? A gist of it,
Yeah. I think we live in such a complicated world anymore. We're bombarded by 24-hour news, all the social media stuff. So many of us try to cram so much into the same amount of time. So, for students, going to school full-time with tests, papers, assignments. Then on top of that, maybe working a job, maybe two jobs, dealing with family, dealing with roommates. I think sometimes we just get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
We try to take on just too much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I relate
to that.
Right? Yeah.
What would you say if a student couldn't balance work and school?
Could not.
I
think one thing I like to work with students on is just finding coping mechanisms. And again, everyone's different. You have to find what works for you. And not just one thing, but to have at least 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But finding those things where you can take time out to it could be taking a bath. It could be reading a good book. It could be going for a walk. It could be doing a yoga class. It could be talking to a friend, going out for a good meal. But you have to try to tell yourself that that's important, that you do those things, and that you do try to incorporate that into your life at least occasionally.
Yeah.
Because I think if we keep going, we burn out. So.
True.
Mm-hmm.
For a second, I thought it wasn't recording.
Is it still recording? Was it okay?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So, kind of answer all my questions in one, but
wow, yeah.
So, trying to think of how I can word this because I kind of answered it, but ultimately, stress can lead to anxiety and depression.
Yeah, a lot of times you see kind of hand in hand.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So, how does someone realize when that's going to happen? Like, what is something to take a step back and be like, oh, maybe I have this, I should go see a counselor, or...
Yeah. You got to just kind of be in tune with yourself. I'm kind of trying to think, too. So, if you're aware of a lot of tension in the body, or you just kind of... I think most of us kind of know if something's not going well for us,
Yeah.
you know? So I think the first thing is just recognizing that, hey, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff. I'm feeling kind of down, or I'm feeling kind of anxious. And then as far as counseling goes, I mean, that's a personal decision. I know when I was an 18, 19-year-old kid, if someone said, hey, go see a counselor, I probably would have, oh, no way.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to convince yourself that, and again, counseling, we don't have a magic wand,
Yeah.
But that I think students need to realize that counseling can be very beneficial. It's oftentimes helpful to just talk about things. It's helpful to have someone who's objective and just to listen to, and then to try to help sort out whatever those issues are, and then just seeing if we come up with a game plan to try to work on that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that really is true. And then, so like, as far as coping mechanisms go, what if like none of them are working for you? You've gone to like through all of them, basically a huge checklist.
Yeah.
What would be a next step, or is there a next step?
Maybe re-examining that and trying different things.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, like on weekends, I try to turn off the TV. I try not to answer emails. I want that time for myself.
Yeah.
Again, I noticed with news, I was finding myself getting upset. I tried to limit how much TV I watch. I tried to do a little exercise. I feel a little bit better. But the thing is, I mean, in life, we are going to experience stress, right? We are going to have ups and downs. So it's not like we're going to eliminate that.
Yeah.
But what I found is again, if we incorporate some of those coping mechanisms that work for us, doesn't mean that we won't have a bad day. Doesn't mean that we won't struggle with things. But it makes it a little bit better, and sometimes even a lot better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely perfect. I think you covered everything too. So
yeah, okay. Well, actually, if you think of anything else, let me know. So,
yeah, I will for sure. And
if you don't mind my asking, how did you pick this topic then?
I personally have had anxiety in the past.
So what have you done when you get anxious?
When I get anxious, I take a bath.
Oh yeah.
With bubbles and just the whole 9 yards. It's just the best.
Does that help? Yeah.
Oh, it helps. Yeah. Amazing. Because I think a bunch of students, like me personally, struggle with work and school.
Oh, sure.
And how to manage it.
Balance all
and
that,
then the stress of money. And then the stress of homework. And then the stress of if your boss is having a bad day, they might want to make you have a bad day.
That's right, yeah.
So...
Yeah. So where are you working at then?
I work at Ulta.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? What is Ulta?
It's a makeup store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I used to work at Old Navy, and I just recently switched over. So definitely also the stress of
new job.
Yeah. So
bosses, customers can probably be a pain at times.
Oh yes, retail is a gym.
Yeah. I used to when I first started grad school, I started having anxiety attacks.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had no idea what an anxiety. I thought I'm dying. My heart would be like, and sometimes relaxation techniques really help. Sometimes it sounds really weird for some people, but like meditation, visualization,
I've tried
phrases.
Yoga during some attacks. I've tried some breathing. And
Good.
All that.
Yeah. And has that helped?
It's definitely helped.
Yeah.
So.
See, a lot of times it's convincing students about that too, because you say, well, you gotta breathe. What? Or.
But you don't realize how important that is. Just calming down.
It is. You cannot be stressed and relaxed at the same time, right? They're two. So you're having a stress response. Breathing, meditation, yoga, things like that can help kind of
calm you down. Yeah. It's crazy how much that helps too.
Oh,
just the simplest thing.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, "Oh no, you need to do this,
right,
this,
it can't be that
this.
easy. Yeah.
And yeah, but it actually is that easy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people automatically think, well, I need to be put on this medication.
Right.
This medication.
Right.
Or let me try this vitamin.
Right.
Or stuff like that.
We kind of live in a pill-happy society. And there's a place for medication, don't get me wrong.
But I don't think it should be automatically the first thing we go to.
Right. Well, and this is what I tell students. I was like, I'm not a physician. I don't prescribe medication. But it's an option. And I'll usually tell students that a lot of people don't want to go on medication for a lot of reasons, and they're valid. I don't know if I can afford it. I don't want to rely on a drug. I'm afraid of maybe side effects. But it certainly doesn't hurt to have that conversation with the doctor to see.
Yeah.
And you can always try it, or get that information and then make a decision, yes or no. But you're right. I think a lot of things can be dealt with probably more efficiently through talking about it, coming up with healthy coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't mention this one too, but are we doing good self-care? In other words, are we getting enough sleep? Are we eating correctly? Just those simple things can make a big difference too.
Which is very hard as a college student. Money makes you eat fast food.
Yeah, I know.
And
right?
then sleep is almost impossible.
Yeah.
So
I know for me too, just the weather makes it. I know it's cold out, but it's fairly sunny. The sky's blue.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot better.
Oh yeah, I walked out today and the sun was on me. I was like, oh my gosh, vitamin D again.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it definitely makes a difference. I think seasonal depression.
Oh, it affects me. It really does.
it's a killer.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think people realize it either. They're just like, oh, I'm just sad.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just more.
Yeah.
And it's not bad that it's more either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think a lot of people acknowledge it.
Probably right.
So.
Yeah, probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we
Okay.
got everything.
Good deal. Well, good luck on your project or your
Thank
paper.
you.